Hey guys, thank you. I appreciate you guys listening in. My name is Chris Kuntz. We're here at Martial Arts Advantage South. We just wrapped up Cold War 17. Great tournament because I think the students learned a lot and there's a lot of smiles on their faces, so that's always a plus. And the reason why we're doing this video today is the idea was to do a simple question and answer type session and create a dialogue with parents because I posted a quick question in the Facebook Martial Arts Advantage Families group. And in there, I asked if there was one thing your child, or you wish your child had more of, what would it be, right? And I got some great responses, whether it was self-control, respect, discipline. But one idea that shot out at me and really stood out above some of the others, just because more people mentioned it, was the idea of confidence. And really not because it's more important, but because some of the things people were saying kind of went hand in hand. So that's the first thing I wanted to address. And I thought that this format of having it on video would be the best solution, because at first I was going to write a giant post, but then I thought maybe people don't like reading that. So maybe having on video is something that you could watch even with your kids or with whoever, and it might just be an easier way to just assimilate the information. And maybe just answer some questions, because what I like to do is to be an ongoing dialogue. So the next question I asked is, what has happened with your child or your children that you would like them to improve upon, or you would want to encourage more of, right? And so that's kind of where we're at today. And so the idea of confidence, one, we have to understand that confidence is a belief in one's own self, their own powers, their own ability to do something, right? Or maybe it's like kind of a trust thing as well. And if kids are lacking in confidence, there could be many reasons for it. And I wanted to talk about some of those reasons. Like, one, it could be that they actually don't really care enough to achieve something, right? So if you have the confidence to do something, you have to actually have the desire to actually achieve the outcome, the end result. Or there could actually be an expectation for them to fail, right? Because a kid is a kid, sometimes, if when they do something, we don't expect them to do it at the level of an adult would do it, because they're a kid. So, but sometimes they hear that and there's this expectation for them to fail, so it's okay if they fail. So they don't have to do their very best, right? And so that kind of goes hand in hand with confidence and self-esteem and improving ourselves and our drive and determination. So that's where I want to talk about. I really liken it to a carnival game. Like, the big board of balloons. Yeah, you see all the little holes around it because people pay their $3 for 3 darts and they have to throw the dart and hit that balloon. Well, when you play that game or any of those carnival games, and if you win, it's like, great, I won that stuffed animal that would also cost me $3 at Walmart, right? However, if you fail at that game or you lose, it's okay, right? You're not that bummed out, because in the back of your mind somewhere, you're also thinking, hey, the game's kind of rigged, right? So if you fail, it's okay. Who cares? Whatever, we'll move on. Let's go get some chimichangas or whatever you get next at the carnivals. But it's now an expectation of failure is actually a little bit higher with those carnival games. And sometimes translate that to a kid, they can have that same expectation of themselves. So, how do we combat that? Well, one, let's think about it from a reverse kind of engineering standpoint. When we think about kids and all the amount of negativity that they hear. So first, if they're going to do something, there has to be something that they're gaining, right? Like, they're gaining significance, they're gaining pleasure, or they're pleasing someone else, and so they're gaining pleasure because they're helping someone else out, right? Or maybe they actually have a sense of accomplishment, or they want to prove someone else wrong, or prove someone else right, that they can do something, yeah? And so there's that desire. But when it comes to negativity will combat that. They'll say, like, you can't do it, right? Like, no, there's no possible way, right? And when we hear that negativity, or kids hear that negativity, whether it's from their friends, their siblings, or even from yourself, from parents, right? Is they will latch on to that. And so we have to be careful what our words are, right? If a kid tries something and we know that they didn't do it quite right, we say, no, stop, don't do that, you did it all wrong. That negativity will be buried into their subconscious. And so the next time they try, they're trying to avoid being scolded again. Yeah, so when they hear that negativity, they're trying to now do something, but only so much so that they don't get scolded, right? And so we got to be careful about those words. So maybe sometimes we choose positive words like, hey, that was a good try. Let's try this also. Or, hey, I know how we can improve that. We can do this as well. So that's one thing I think that we should think about when we're talking to our kids is we have to watch our own language because kids will mirror that. And they'll mirror it by saying something negative to their friends or their brother, sister, or whoever, but they'll also mirror it by saying negative things to themselves. So if kids have trouble, doing something or they have a lack of confidence in an issue, there might be someone's energy they're mirroring. I'm not trying to zing parents here and say, hey, it's you. It could be someone else. It could be friends. It could be TV. It could be something else. It's we have to be conscious of what they're intaking, right? One good drill, I think, to kind of build confidence is literally to take out a piece of paper and write down on paper or computer, whatever, and talk and write down all your child's best abilities, and have them fill it out. Like, what do you do great? What are you good at? What do you love? And have them write these things down. And attaching the whole "what do you love" thing might just make it a little bit more fun. And that's the idea. It has to be fun. It has to be more of a game. It can't be like a drudging exercise. So if you're telling them, like, if they're sitting down playing on the tablet and they're playing Minecraft, you're like, hey, stop playing Minecraft. I want to do this drill. They're not going to have very much fun doing that drill. So we need to do it at a point in time where they will be more willing. Maybe there's a reward, like, hey, sit down with me. I want to talk about some of the great things that you do, and then afterwards you get 10 minutes of playing on your tablet, whatever it is. And so highlighting those things is huge. Drawing attention to what they are able to do is a huge step in appreciation. And so they have to be appreciative of what their strengths are, and then they also have to be appreciative of what they have as well, because what they have kind of goes hand in hand. And I think if you have a sense of willingness to give or share, you're actually bolstering your own self-esteem, your own self-worth, your own self-confidence, because you recognize you have the power, the ability to help and affect someone else. There's a great story with Tony Robbins. I'm gonna tell it very quickly, where he had his son. His son's 4 years old. His son, for his birthday, got all these red balloons, and Tony Robbins thought it was great, but his son was like, they're mine. They're my balloons. I'm not giving them to anybody else. And so he thought, how could we change that? And so he took his son to an elderly home. And, sooner or later, after talking to all the elderly people were asking questions about the balloons. The idea was planted of, hey, maybe I give one of these balloons away. And he started doing that, and his son got such great pleasure and joy from doing that, by the end of it, he had no balloons. And in fact, he was asking his dad, hey, when can we do this again? So there has to be that appreciation. Finally, when we talk about confidence, we also have to make sure that the kids have a realistic expectation of what they're going to achieve. Like if their goal is to do 100 push-ups, and so today they do 10, tomorrow they're not going to do 100, right? It's baby steps. They're going to improve upon time. So we have to instill an idea of patience, that with patience and with continuance, with continuity, they will get to where they want to be. They can build confidence that way. Like right now, from where they are to where they want to be, there might be this big gap, right? Let's say that they like drawing and they want to be like this great artist over here. Well, this is a big gap. What's great is that they have good taste. They see what this great artist is capable of, but they're not quite there. And so we got to be careful. If they just compare themselves to other people, they're always going to compare themselves and they're always going to recognize the gap. So what we have to do is not focus on the gap that's in between us, but focus on the steps and the slight improvements. And that's where parents and instructors and mentors are key. They are the ones that are going to give the feedback saying, hey, look how great you did at this point in time here. So it's not the negative, like, wow, you didn't do this. It's, hey, you did these great things. Let's build upon that. And it's not a false sense of confidence either. Like, wow, you actually did really terrible, but let me find something good that you did and here. No, let's talk about it in a real holistic and frank sense that, hey, you did it this way. I need you to do it this way. Let's get even better. And we actually had that happen at our Cold War tournament here, where the students, they just competed. And well, in the middle of their competition, they were doing things a certain way. And Mr. Kuntz asked them, say, hey, listen, I need you to do it this way. Do it like this, like a black belt would. And so they went back and they started fixing things. And in the moment, they were scared, right? But by the end of it, they were all smiles. They were happy. They were proud of their accomplishments. And one of the questions I asked them was, why were we so tough on you? And they knew. They said, because you care about us, because you want us to improve. And that's exactly it. So to wrap things up, I just have a question for you guys. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. So the question of the day. in your child's own words, what is his or her greatest talent? If you do me a favor, just reply back to this post here and write down your answer. It's going to be great for me and just give me some good feedback as far as where kids are at. And I think it's actually going to open up some dialogue for you at home. So that's awesome. And if you like this video, do me a favor, like, share, comment, whatever. The more people that we affect, I think the better it's going to be. And again, it'll let me know that, hey, we're doing something right here. We're taking steps in the right direction. So this is step one, and hopefully there's many other great things to come. All right, thank you guys.